Good evening, Namaste, Salamat Sore. Welcome to Manthan with Saraswathi, a captivating platform for enriching talks and podcasts. On Manthan with Saraswathi, we have had privilege of featuring distinguished doctors, educators, administrators, motivators, edupreneurs, talented artists, well-read friends, and even my own students who are excelling in their lives. Each of these guests have shared invaluable insights from their life journeys and provided guidance for young minds, contributing to a broader perspective and deeper understanding of the world. I'm Saraswathi and I'm thrilled to announce you to our new series, Familylife Fiesta, a vibrant chapter in our Celebrating Women in Business series here on Manthan with Saraswathi. In Femipreneur Fiesta, we shine a spotlight on exceptional women entrepreneurs, trailblazers who have shattered barriers and redefined leadership in their fields. These inspiring women come from diverse industries, each bringing a unique journey of success, resilience, and invaluable lessons they have learned along the way. In today's session that have shaped their careers, explore how they balance personal and professional commitments and uncover the strategies they use to create inclusive and empowering workspaces. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or simply someone who loves or who values stories of courage and growth, today's conversation promises both inspiring and practical insights. So, let's dive into the world of women entrepreneurs and hear directly from these incredible leaders paving the way forward.
You need to surround yourself with people who will support you. And education is the key to learning about the world. And you as a teacher would probably know this even better than I do. Also, remind yourself of your strengths. Moving forward is moving together.
Just go and
don't be paralyzed by fear. And I think this is a very powerful learning. Every day, we should start at zero.
Today, on Manthan with Saraswathi, we are pleased to have Poonam Sagar, an entrepreneur, community builder, consultant. You are also the founder of Indoindians, an online information hub for Indian community in Indonesia. Welcome to Manthan with Saraswathi.
Thank you. Thank you, Saraswathi.
And Poonam, before I give you to introduce more about yourself, I just want to tell people that Poonam Sagar has 3 postgraduate degrees in science, business, and technology. She is an avid reader, speaker, and an occasional writer, and with the motto, learn, apply, and achieve. So that's a very limited from my side. Let's go on to Poonam Sagar and hear from what she has to say.
Thank you, Saraswathi. Thank you for the lovely introduction. So I think you've covered most of the aspects. I just wanted to also share that I've studied in India. I did my schooling and my 2 postgrad degrees from India. I studied at the University of Delhi and later at Punjab University, Chandigarh for my MBA. This was a wonderful experience. I think India teaches us that education is the most important thing that we can all have. Knowledge never goes for waste. And the more you learn, the more you know the world around you, the better it is for each and every one of us. And education is the key to learning about the world and for your own personal and professional. And you as a teacher would probably know this even better than I do.
Thank you. Thank you. I think this is what connected us because you are into community, spreading awareness, taking lead in all these portals and educating people. So that's why probably there is something which connects us. And in this journey where you talk about education, yes, education gives wings. You have education and you can conquer the whole world. And what more if a woman entrepreneur who is so very dedicated to education as an asset, then of course everything speaks through what your actions are.
So I'm so glad to have you with us. And would you like to add something more to it?
So when you say entrepreneur, when I was doing my MBA in Chandigarh, at that time I was, we'd just been married, just moved to Chandigarh, and there I had this idea of starting a small business. Now we call it startup. At that time, nobody called it a startup. Those were in the early days. So my idea was to supply plants to offices, and I called it Prakriti, which is nature in Hindi.
Mhm.
And I had a huge balcony in my house,
Mhm.
where I used to, nurture my plants,
Mhm.
and they became really beautiful plants, which were perfect for indoor offices. And
Mhm.
every weekend we would exchange the plants. So I had hired somebody to transport the plants and exchange them and bring them back. And that was so joyful to work with plants and to to create a small business out of that. And it
Mhm.
lasted for the entire duration of my master's in business administration, and after which we moved from Chandigarh. And
Mhm.
when we moved from Chandigarh, I sold all the plants, and I think I made more from selling all those beautiful plants than I did from from the 2 years running the business. So you see that every little idea can spark something positive and something
Yes.
beautiful.
See, now that when you say that you're selling the plants made more than what you would do the business. So now tell us, that is leading me to the next question, which I'm going to ask you, Poonam. And the question would be like, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur? Not just, I'm sure not the selling the plant one day, but yes, something inspired you. And how did you embark upon on the journey which you're doing so brilliantly over the years? And I'm witness to it. And many of me Jakartan friends are witness to it.
Thank you, Saraswati, for that question. Yes, my journey into entrepreneurship was driven by a passion for connecting people
Hmm.
and creating a meaningful platform.
Hmm.
When we first came to India to Indonesia as an expatriate, I was very disconnected. I did not know the language.
Hmm.
I barely knew any people here, and it was very difficult for me to find information.
Hmm.
So this was in the late 90s. And
Hmm.
at that time there was, no online resources, and because, there was a lack of information. And I saw a gap for
Hmm.
a community that could bring together the Indian diaspora.
Yeah.
So this realization sparked the idea for Indoindians.com, a platform that would serve as a hub for information,
Hmm.
events, and connections. So Indoindians.com was not only a way to address a need within the community, but
Hmm.
also to fulfill my own desire to make a positive impact.
Hmm.
This journey began with a clear vision, and each step was fueled by a commitment to connect people and
Hmm.
for continuous learning and adapting to the changes that keep happening all the time.
So that is phenomenal. It's so encouraging to see that you could think of that, and no wonder that the platform right now we have Indo Indians is really shining. You know, उगता हुआ सूरज कहते हैं ना. So wishing that कि उसकी रोशनी कभी धीमी ना हो, सूरज की तरह चमकता रहे हमेशा. So, like you said, it is also said that you have to do what you dream of doing,
Yep.
even when you're afraid, right? It is said that. So, when you start upon your journey, I'm sure you'd have had some thoughts which could have held you back, but you didn't. You went ahead. So, similarly, what advice do you have for these aspiring women entrepreneurs who may be hesitant to start with their own business?
So, Saraswati, the first step is the hardest, but
Yeah.
it's also the most important.
Hmm.
If you have an idea or a passion, trust in yourself and take a leap of faith.
Hmm.
There are many things that we do not know.
Hmm.
Start small
Yeah.
and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Hmm.
The making mistakes is a way of learning.
True.
Every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. And most importantly, surround yourself with a support system of like minded individuals, of people who support your mistakes, who say, don't be afraid to make mistakes,
Sure.
people who can guide you, encourage you, and give you honest feedback. That is super important. Remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Entrepreneurship is a journey, and
Mhm.
each step forward counts. I like to say it's falling forward. Every mistake you make helps you move forward. Even if you fall,
Mhm.
you're at least forward. The key is to start, stay persistent, and keep believing in yourself.
I would like to quote Oprah Winfrey here, and she says, "Do the one thing you cannot do. Fail at it, try again. Do better the second time." The only person who never truly tumble are those who never mount the high wire. This is your moment, own it. And like you said, going ahead is also tumbling back, right? So correct and so very apt. You're very strong, a resilient person who is able to handle just everything. This is what I've observed about you. So you're a great role model for everyone who looks up at you, Poonam. Now, tell us, this is not easy to be at that platform where you're organizing, you're managing so many things. So, how do you balance the demand of running a successful business with your personal life?
Saraswati, you and I know that balancing business and personal life is an ongoing challenge.
Yeah.
And it is achievable only with careful planning, prioritization, and a support system. When your children are small, you your main priority is your children. So you have to build and plan everything around that. It's all about setting clear boundaries and being disciplined with your time. You have to set your priorities in order. So be very clear what is your priority. And then delegation is very crucial. So you need to surround yourself with people who will support you and help you with your priorities. Trust in your team, trust in your team around you,
Mhm.
and spend quality time with your loved ones. It's not about doing everything perfectly, and none of us are perfect, but finding a rhythm that works for you and adjusting it as needed.
Mhm.
So during this time when I'm talking about demanding times and balancing work life, earlier I remember I used to say that I need to find time for myself.
Mhm.
And I have also met a lot of my contemporaries and a lot of my friends who also say this, that I need to find me time.
Mhm.
But many years ago, I had this aha moment when I realized that every minute is actually my time.
Mhm.
And I'm making a choice of
Mhm.
where I'm spending that time. So now I no longer look for me time because all this time, 24 hours in a day, is my time. So, that's the way I balance.
You complete it. You complete it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
So
Saraswati.
I just want to let you know that there's a lot of time when you listen, when you talk to these ladies, and they would say that I'm looking for my me time and me time, and look at how beautifully you put it. That when you're doing something, it's only your me time which you're putting into your business or whatever you're doing, right?
Yes.
And this is such a new thing I'm hearing from you, Poonam, and I'm so glad that you are sharing it with us. But you are giving us a complete new perspective on how even the work which you are doing, it's like meditation. When that's also your me time. So beautifully said, Poonam, and thank you so much for giving up this new perspective of looking into how productive we can be if we have this particular thought with us, right? You see, this very important when we are upon a journey. It's not always success which we always come. You already said that, every step forward is also a little bit of tumbling backwards. But many a times it so happens that a person who has not reached success tends to become discouraged, and they are like, oh, main thak gayi hu and I'm tired of it, and they just walk away from that, or they choose not to do what they are doing. So how do you handle failures and setbacks in your business, and what lessons have you learned from these experiences, Poonam?
So, Saraswati, you cannot be, like I said, we are not perfect. None of us are perfect. We cannot be successful at everything we do. And some things we do well, some things we cannot do well.
Sure.
For some things we have an innate affinity to do it very well. And it is not about doing many things. It is about doing some things at least. And did you know that startup founders, 90% of startups fail? So did that stop them from starting up? So it's not about the failure at all. It is about the action. It is about stepping up. So like I like to say, step up, show up, and make a difference. So if you're not even there, if you've not even tried it, then you wouldn't know. And many a times it is a great idea to start something and realize that this is not for you, to change and pivot to do something different. So even like you shared, Saraswati, every time we try something and if it doesn't work, that's learning. That's learning. That's moving forward in a direction which is not doing something that doesn't work for us. So my advice, to my friends and even to myself, that we shouldn't beat ourselves up if we have not succeeded in doing something.
Yeah.
It is experience. Life is a beautiful kaleidoscope of experiences. And it's not about all experiences have to be, rah-rah and successful. It is a different colors. Some of them are when you are unsuccessful, when you failed, or you've, done something and it goes terribly wrong. And sometimes when you're doing something and then you realize that you should do something else. So it's all about different experiences. And one should never get discouraged. There's always a door ahead waiting for you.
Yeah. And, I would like to quote Michelle Ruiz here. And it is said that if people are doubting how far you can go far that you can't hear them anymore. If anybody is commenting on that, okay, this is what you have done and this is what you have done, look at this, what you have done to yourself. So you just change the path, go to a place where you can't hear them, and then you start fresh. Very similar to what you said, that you have not been successful in one, try another. In these days, it is about networking. Try. And does this networking have any effect? So my question would be very close to that. Okay, what role do mentorship and networking play in the development of a woman entrepreneur? And I'm just adding one more question to it. Do you have any personal experience to share? I'm sure you'll have plenty of them.
Yeah, Saraswati, you very rightly said that mentorship and networking are invaluable in the entrepreneurial journey. As we've already established that none of us are perfect and none of us know everything, networking and mentorship give us access to people who know more than we do. And they provide access to knowledge, resources, and support that can make all the difference in overcoming challenges and achieving success. Personally, I have benefited immensely from guidance of mentors. Many a time we don't want to talk. We don't want to share our problems because we appear vulnerable, or we might feel that we appear silly if we ask for help regarding something which we feel others might already know.
Sure.
But unless we ask, we wouldn't know. Networking can open doors to collaborations, partnerships, and opportunities that I wouldn't have found otherwise. And, today I would like to state that moving forward, is not a one person journey. Moving forward is moving together. So the more people you collaborate with, the more people you partner with, the greater are the opportunities and the bigger impact that you will make.
Mm.
As the chairperson of the Indonesia India Business Forum, I've also had the privilege of mentoring others. And I'm also recently working with some other mentoring organizations where we are trying to mentor women and help other women on their entrepreneurial paths. Building a strong network is like creating a safety net. It's there to support you when you need it most.
That's wonderfully put. A safety net.
Yes.
Lovely term. I mean, it makes you feel very secure. Congratulations about the chairperson for the
Indonesia India Business Forum.
Indonesia India Business Forum. Congratulations on that, Poonam. And I'm very happy. And you're going to guide. And I would also come down for taking some guidance from you on that. So, when you have reached this high, I'm sure they would have been some moments of self doubt with you. Yeah. So, and it happens with anybody, let it be a housewife or let it be a teacher, let it be, a doctor. The moment of self doubt can be a little weak for the person himself. So, those who are going to listen to us, I would like you to let us know that how did you navigate self doubt and the feeling of inadequacy? What guidance would you offer to women encountering similar hurdles in the entrepreneurial journey?
Saraswati, self-doubt happens every day. It happens at every point, especially when you're stepping out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
At that moment, there are many things to do. Self-doubt happens is when you're planning to take an action, and then you want to think that maybe I'm taking the wrong action. Mm-hmm. And then you write down the worst case scenario. Once you have your worst case scenario in front of you, then you decide, and what is the best case scenario? And that time you also remind yourself of your strengths, people that you're working with, the resources that you have, and you seek support from your trusted mentors, your friends and peers who offer perspectives which might be different from yours. There's this thing called crowdsourcing. If you remember Amitabh Bachchan's, Kaun Banega Crorepati, and they had 3 lifelines, right?
Yeah.
They could ask a friend, phone a friend.
Yeah.
They could ask Janta Ki Rai.
Yeah.
So this is where we are. Isn't that a self-doubt when that person doesn't have the right answer? So what do? You practice self-compassion. First of all, you say, I cannot be expected to know everything. I cannot be expected to do everything right. So practice self-compassion. Number 1, be kind to yourself.
Very important. Yeah.
Yeah. And secondly, don't let the self-doubt define you.
Very well said.
Reach out to your mentors and peers. Ask them for help. Ask them, am I doing the right thing? I'm sure all of us have one person in our lives who we can ask. Now, this could be your husband. This could be your parents. This could be your children. Sometimes children give you very good advice.
Yeah.
And it could be your friends. And I am a very believer in mentorship. Find somebody to mentor you, to be your mentor. Embrace the fact that growth happens outside your comfort zone. So self-doubt happens only when you're outside your comfort zone. So maybe this is an opportunity to grow. Keep pushing forward and trust in your ability to overcome obstacles.
Wow. You're adding something more to it? I'm like a motivational session for me. So good. I'm so glad to have this conversation with you, Poonam, today. But listening to you today, I'm sure the ladies the women who are trying to either build up a system for themselves or trying to build up the career for themselves, or young girls who would be listening to you would be totally inspired. And probably in a few years, they would come and say, Poonam auntie, I heard this talk show somewhere and you're ready to mentor, and they'll be there to get the mentorship from you. Never know. You
In
know.
fact, Saraswati, I'd like to just add a little bit about Gandhi ji to this.
Yes, sure.
So I've been given to believe, I've read somewhere that once when one of the followers of Gandhi ji mentioned that Gandhi ji always believed in the zero.
Hmm.
And I think this is a very powerful learning. Every day we should start at zero. आप शून्य से शुरू करिए,
Hmm.
then उसके बाद तो पॉजिटिव ही होगा ना.
Huh.
So every journey starts today at this moment when I am a zero. So you could add it to anything. Am I going to add this to my physical journey, to my fitness journey? If I'm zero today, how can I move forward to one?
Hmm.
And so also in your professional life. I'm here today. I should not keep looking back at the past. I should only look forward to start at this moment in time.
पूरा philosophy that शून्य से शुरू करें. Start zero.
Yeah.
So inspiring. या उससे ज्यादा, उससे बदतर क्या हो सकता है? शून्य से ज्यादा क्या हो सकता है? Right. आप आगे बढ़ोगे ना, you will go one step ahead. What? You will definitely achieve something. If not anything, you were a zero. You will continue to be zero, but you will move forward. Definitely.
Yeah.
And like again, relating to कि never look back, go forward. शून्य से शुरू करें and आगे बढ़े. So, what's your favorite book? Because you are an avid reader. What's your favorite book?
I have many books. I am an avid reader. And my favorite genre is fantasy.
Okay.
One would say, why fantasy? Because fantasy takes you away from real life and looks for possibilities.
Mhm.
And some of the authors are amazing. You know, they come up with such different points of view and such a massive imagination. And you say, whoa, I never thought of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I read books on every subject. Anything and everything that I feel I don't know much about, I will pick up a book and read, even if it is to help in my day-to-day life. For example, I would like to talk about a book that my son suggested to me, Non-Violent Communication.
Oh yeah, I was
Yeah.
suggested by my son too.
And it's a wonderful book on how to relate to people, how to communicate with people without getting upset or making the other people upset. And it's a wonderful book. So, books on every little thing that you can talk about. There's this other book, this very famous little tiny book called Who Ate My Frog? Have you read that book?
No, I haven't. I've heard about this book, Who Ate My Frog. Yeah, very
Yeah.
tiny.
So
Yeah.
then there's Who Moved My Cheese, and there's Eat the Frog First. Eat the Frog First. So Eat the Frog First is basically about doing the most unpleasant thing first.
Okay. I'm going to read that now.
So those are all. So I read anything and everything, and I enjoy reading. Apart from reading, the other day, Saraswati, I was thinking about maybe I should create a little post about these are a few of my favorite things.
Oh yeah, then you can sing These Are My Few of
Yes.
Favorite Things. Okay.
So I really enjoy playing sport. So I like racket sports, tennis, badminton. I used to in school. I used to play table tennis, and I used to be the captain of my basketball team. So I love sports.
Mhm.
The other thing I enjoy is scuba diving. I really enjoy deep sea diving.
Mhm.
I like playing golf. I like dabbling in a little bit of painting. I like watercolors. I love watercolors because it's so simple, so quick, and it just kind of water makes everything more beautiful. And yes, and I love my friends. And
I'm sure they'll be telling that, oh, I also love you. When you just watch, they can tag you on this interview. Oh, we love you too,
yeah,
Poonam.
yeah, I love being out in the nature. I like going to picturesque, scenic places and traveling.
Any last advice you would like to give to those young woman entrepreneur or anybody, or even the child, young girls, boys who are listening to you?
Be fearless.
That's be fearless. And
Don't be paralyzed by fear.
it's wonderful. With that wonderful thought, Manthan with Saraswati wants to thank you, Poonam, for taking your time out of this busy schedule and giving us this moment of that motivational talk, which will inspire people who are listening to you.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you,
thank you.
Saraswati.